So, I don't really know how to start this episode today, but it's pretty sad. So, the boxer everybody knows as Bahubali passed away this morning, and I'm pretty miffed by it. His real name was Ernest Akushi, and I guess for the past year he had become a bit of a darling of the local boxing scene because of his antics. He was very personable. He knew how to sell a fight. Very good trash talker, and that added to his attention. Although I must say he was a very limited boxer. He didn't have too much experience. If you look at his boxing record, he had fought 7 times or so. But his sheer personality meant that he had become a bit of a must-see. But I think the duty bearers of boxing need to do much better. This is the second death we've had in boxing. The first one was the Nigerian chap who came to die here. That led to a reconstitution of the Ghana Boxing Authority by the sports minister. Came with all kinds of controversy. That matter has even not yet been settled properly. And somebody will say, well, he fought 8 days ago. He fought on the 15th or 16th, if I'm not mistaken. And today is what, the 23rd or 22nd, and he's dead. So what's the link? Watch the fight. It's very easy to make the link. Now, I've seen the video of Bahubali and the boxer he faced, Jacob Dixon. A video that was shared this week of the two of them, having a meal somewhere and just having a jolly good time. But look at Ernest Akushi's face. He was still suffering from the effects of that encounter with Jacob Dixon. And I'm very interested in, and I think the sports ministry should also be very interested in what the autopsy says. I saw the video, very sad. I cannot share it on my social media handle of the relatives of Bahubali and Akushi at the hospital. He was called Oko, died at the Lekma hospital, just trying to beat the body back into life, But again, I said, watch the video. And I say, duty bearers in boxing, you need to do better. I don't know who the referee of this fight was, but I think the fight should have been stopped way earlier. It had gotten to us pretty clear Bahubali was not protecting himself. He was taking a lot of headshots. It wasn't just body shots, a lot of proper headshots. And these were going to definitely have an impact. And if you put the two things together, go back to his previous fight as well against Tete. He lost that fight. He again took a lot of punishment, and that was 4 months ago. He fought on the 25th of May and then fought again in September. 4 months, I think that's enough time. But somebody might also say, if you look at the punishment he took in his previous loss against Tete, and then you put that together with the punishment he took against Jacob Dixon in this particular fight, this video that you are seeing, it obviously tells you where the problem comes from. And I say, look, this was even a mismatch if you ask me. Jacob Dixon, obviously a very talented, far superior boxer. There was a need to push up his record. He's fought 13 fights. They needed to push up his record. So they say, hey, let's bring Bahubali. Easy money. You beat him. It's the way it goes. But I think our matchmakers, our promoters, they need to do a much better job of some of these things. Boxing is about skill. It's called the art of self-defense, right? It's the science of self-defense. A lot of the fighters we are seeing these days in the ring in Accra, the Bukum boxing area, are unable to defend themselves. So if it's the science of self-defense and we are putting in a lot of boxers, albeit very popular, they come with all kinds of monikers, they have their own community behind them, but the skill level is extremely low. I'm not saying everybody that we put in our matchmakers and promoters put in the ring has to be a world beater, but I'm saying they need to make these matches a bit better, where the skill gap is not that large and where the boxers at least can competently protect themselves. I think Ernest Akushi was not a boxer who was able to protect himself, and that is why I link his passing away to that beating he took at the hands of Jacob Dixon. This is no fault of Jacob Dixon's. He's a boxer. He had a job to do. It was the referee's responsibility to protect Akushi in the ring. Bahubali is gone. And this is a warning There are a couple of other boxers who are being pushed because they sell tickets. Ambitious Tilapia, the chap who always has the prophet's name on his shorts. He won a fight recently. But they should also take note. Watch who you are being asked to fight. Measure yourself and see, is the gap that wide? Will I be able to competently protect myself? Or am I just being sent there to take a beating for a pittance? That is what we need to do with our boxing. So, Bahubali and Estakushe Oko, rest in peace. Ghana boxing did you bad. Now, it's not even just about, the sad story of Bahubali. There's also another sad story in football, although it's not a death. But it's the sacking of Goldstars coach Frimpong Manso. Now, I'm not a big fan of Frimpong Manso, I must admit. But Goldstars, what the heck are you thinking here? So, Frimpong Manso wins you the league, wins you the Gal Cup top 4, the Super Cup. I think they lost the Super Cup as well to Kumasi Santiago Tokodo. You lose the first leg of your first foray. This is the first match Goldstars have ever played in Africa against a team that is one of the most experienced teams when it comes to playing in African competition, GS Kabylie. And your response is to sack Frimpong Manso because you lost against GS Kabylie. I need to hear more because it's not making sense to me. The announcement is not making sense to me that, and the rumor has it that they're bringing in Maxwell Kunedu. So if Maxwell Kunedu is unable to reverse this, and hey, you must be bright-eyed optimist in BBNE if you think that Goldstars will go to GS Kabylie and overturn a 2-0 deficit. It's not going to happen. I think that, look, you did not put enough investment into a team, and I don't mean you don't put in money. They put in money. I'm talking about investment in playing quality. You knew you were going to play in Africa. You knew you were going to play against some of the stronger teams on the continent. What do? It's not just about recruiting the good players in Ghana. It's about leveling up. That is how you show intent. So, you recruited who you thought was going to be able to help you. And I must admit, your recruitment is decent. Goldstars is a very competent Ghanaian team. If they are playing in Ghana, if they are playing in Africa, as we just saw, they are not very competent. And I don't blame Frimpong Manso for that. Frimpong Manso had to compete with what he had to compete with. If he's supposed to play in Ghana, he's been beating the teams in Ghana, has he not? So what he has is definitely good enough to compete with the best of the best in Ghana. But did you give him what he needed to compete with the best of the best out of Africa? So to come and sack Frimpong Manso after one leg, I don't get the sense behind it. And my good friend Faisal Chipsa was talking about some of the things that our teams need to be able to do to catch up in Africa. He spoke about the investment in structure, the long-term investment in players, the long-term investment in coaching. These are things. Goldstars, you are a newbie. You just came. How old are you? It's no excuse though, but I'm just saying, these things take time. They take money. This was supposed to be a learning curve for you. You are behaving like Mamelodi Sundowns and Ali. Unjustifiably so, I must admit. There's nothing wrong with having lofty ambitions. But if you have lofty ambitions, then you must have lofty investments. You didn't make those investments, then you go and sack Frimpong Manso, who again, like I said, I am no fan of. I don't think he's really an elite level coach. But he won the league. Unless Goldstars are telling us something we don't know. That you won the league in spite of Frimpong Manso. Yeah, and finally, Ousmane Dembele, congratulations for winning the Ballon d'Or. Everybody knows that I was team Lamine Yamal. I'm not going to run away from that. And I still think deep within me that Lamine Yamal was the best player of last season, is the best player in the world. There's nobody who can do what he can do with the ball. The big games, he's always shown up. But again, the dynamics of the award has changed. Who scores the most goals and contributes to the team effort. So you can dominate and your team can get to a semi-final, and if you lose and the opposing team happens to have a player who has scored 15 goals, 15 assists, hey, you are losing the world best player to that player. You can't really do much about it. It's where the award is at, right? So people talk about, Rafinha was fifth, Why? Vitinha was third. Why? Salah was fourth. Why? It's fine margins, isn't it? Like I said previously, like the other videos I've done, and hey, don't forget, just before I continue, hit the subscribe button and share. Devil in the detail. But like I was saying, if this award had been given in April, Mohamed Salah clearly would have won the Ballon d'Or. Top goal scorer then in Europe, assist in Europe at the time. Liverpool were flying to the league, were flying in the Champions League because they remember Liverpool were first in the group stage of the Champions League. They were up until they played Paris Saint-Germain. Everybody thought Liverpool was going to the Champions League final, So it just changed. But I think outside of the winner, where somebody falls doesn't matter whether you're second or third or fourth or fifth. The people who vote, the 100 journalists say these are the top 5 players in Europe. That's what it is. Right, so whoever wins is the one that matters. And like Ousmane Dembele, incredible last season, got double figures in goals and assists as well. Finally found his place in the system. He's always been talented, right? But he's never been able to put it together. And Luis Enrique was able to get him to put it together. So yeah, congratulations to Ousmane Dembele. Hopefully he's able to defend the title. We haven't seen a proper defense of the title since Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo left the scene. Rodri, got injured after he won it, so he didn't stand much of a chance. Let's see if Ousmane Dembele can repeat last season's magic. And of course, there are critics. So my journalist Miguel Delaney wrote an interesting article, and it's something you can check. Type Miguel Delaney and find out his article on the Ballon d'Or and what it means. And basically, he says, look, don't reward PSG because it's state investment against the whole league. There's no team in French football that has the capacity of Paris Saint-Germain to bring the kind of players in. So they are beating everybody down in the French league. So they shouldn't get any beauty points for being the top team in French football. And then he goes on to make other analysis about that. I've heard Guillaume Bayage also make his own arguments. And I'm sure most of you would have your own points on what constitutes a right way to, say, reward a player for the season. But hey, it is what it is. So congratulations to him.